I like how that slap right there. You got me feeling real Orange Shoes Jones, man. Yeah. It's so great nice in here. Midwest finesse now, let's be clear. Northern exposure, new frontier. Good rhymes, good times, and yes, it's good beer. We be some MVPs in here. Giannis and Yelich had some good years. No time faking it, we about making it. That glass ceiling stuff, yo, I'm all about breaking it. From a small town that I got big dreams. Change my diet up now, get more greens. Where the good fiber, the flow on cyber. Almost los flamingos flock tighter. All we do is give that good try. Goes ahead and playlist on Spotify. Do da 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 do just like Shy. It's that 9-9 simple word so fly.
What is up, flock and friends? This is Rob Chappell with another edition of 608 Soccer Show. And with me, as always, Ethan Maurice. How you doing, sir?
Feeling good, feeling large, flying high.
The scarf game on point today?
Yes. Broke it out especially. This is the original Flamingo one. This is probably my favorite one that I own.
Nice, fantastic. It's a Flamingo kind of day, isn't it? Feels
sure
like
is.
a full Flamingo weekend. Now, we should tell folks you're here. We're recording this a bit early in the week. This the very next day after the game, which is usually we have a couple of days to think it over. And you're not going to be here for the second part of the show for the whatever we interview lineup because tell folks where you're going.
Yeah, avid watchers of our YouTube channel will notice this is not my regular background. I am halfway en route to the World Cup. I secured myself a ticket. One of my mom's tennis partner gave her a call and let her know that she maybe had an extra ticket to see Messi at the World Cup, and would that be of interest to me? And I said, well, I think so, probably. I could go for something like that.
Do you have Ronaldo?
I would not have said that. I would not have said that.
No.
Okay. No, but she got in the original Ticketmaster queue.
Oh, nice.
And so it's like cheap, but it's still an eye-watering amount. So
but
whatever.
But worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to Kansas City, right?
Yes, Kansas City, Argentina versus Algeria.
Awesome.
Yes, Messi will be present, but I'm kind of thinking of cheering for Algeria. I don't know if you've seen online, but Algeria and Lawrence, Kansas have this bromance going on.
Yes.
And I'm no Lawrencian, but I want to get in on that. A couple of Man City guys on Algeria as well. But even still, I think they have a lot of fun. They're kind of plucky. They could be the number 2 team in that group. So
everybody loves an underdog, right?
Exactly.
Not that Algeria is a Cinderella exactly. I mean, they're obviously a very good footballing nation.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody against Argentina right now is going to be an underdog.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and so right. So I don't know. I also have like a Maradona jersey, so if it strikes me on the day, maybe I'll wear that. If not, I'm hoping to swap scarves. If anybody has a connect in Kansas City that wants to swap scarves, or if anybody is friends with an Algerian, link me up.
All right. Well, good for you. I'm very excited for you, and we'll have to you'll have to send some dispatches from the World Cup.
Oh, I will.
And
yeah,
I'm sure we'll talk about it at length next week. All right, now back to the much smaller world of USL soccer. A couple of news notes. First of all, just see Emiliano Terzaghi has transferred. Did you see this?
Transferred and scored on his first appearance.
He sure did.
Against the Evil Empire, no less.
Against Omaha, he went he wasn't connecting in Portland. He obviously one of the greats of the early part of USL League One, right? He scored
all-time leading scorer,
50-something goals in one season, like over a couple of seasons with Richmond. Longtime listeners will remember when we used to do the Around the Leagues section when we'd say, and who scored for Richmond? Emiliano Terzaghi. It's like, of course he did, because he always does. What hasn't been the same player. He was injured. He's getting older, obviously. Went to Portland, wasn't connecting there. Has transferred to Sarasota right out the gate. Scores a banger against Omaha. So maybe it's the Terzaghi Renaissance.
Yeah, to win, no less. Sarasota in 15th takes down first place Omaha. That's too bad for them. That's
that's rough. But speaking of Argentina, I mean Terzaghi.
There you go.
They're in Sarasota, Florida. Closer to home, Rally Madison now has 2 wins in a row.
All right.
Which is fantastic. They completely dominated Rochester at home, won that one 3-0. and they figured out what they were struggling for the longest time with the connectivity between the midfield and the forwards, and they got that figured out. I think we'll talk. I'll rewatch it and we'll talk more about that in a later episode this week with Sarah Stern. But then just now, as on Sunday, they went to Rockford, went down 1-0, leveled at 1, and scored a winner in the 90th minute.
There
So
you
they've
go.
got their first like real big thriller win, which is fantastic. So and then they go again on Tuesday. So they have like games Friday, Sunday, Tuesday. Which is
There you go.
brutal. But they are in.
They have a big squad.
They do, and that makes it difficult to cover because they rotate so much, and they get 7 subs per game. So it's hard to keep track of who's who. So ask me who scored the winner. I could not tell you right now, but I'll figure it out. I'll find out. But then they play Edgewater Castle down in the Chicagoland area on Tuesday, and again we'll have another whole Rallycast episode for you later in the week. At this match, this 5-1 win over AC Boise, which has been a very good team. As we mentioned, not in the best form recently, coming off a midweek match. There's a lot of excuses we can make for them, but on this night it was Pride Night, first of all, and I was a little disappointed, frankly, in the lack of promotion of that.
Was it really Pride Night?
You didn't know, did you? Because they didn't
That's
promote
genuinely
it.
not a joke. Yeah, that's genuinely not a joke. No, I didn't know that.
They did Pride Night stuff. They had like the like rainbow flag race and stuff, and there was a lot of people there decked out in Pride stuff, and they had the Pride Pride warm ups, which looked really nice, and I'm sure are for sale now. And I texted somebody in the front office last week asking, is there going to be any like Pride merch this year? And they're like, oh yeah, there will be, and they have not promoted it at all. It's like they don't want money.
Huh.
Like, what are they doing? I don't know. I mean, they've added a whole new team. I don't know that they've added any front office staff to do all that. So I know they're all busy and everything, but still, it's like seems like a missed opportunity. And as evidenced by you right, just now, didn't promote it as Pride Night at all.
Yeah, I will admit I was 5 minutes late. I think I got there in the 7th minute, so I would have missed a pre-match top. But surely they've got to do more later. Like, we've got a whole month. We've got a lot of home games this month. That can't be. I mean, you can call it Pride Night, but surely they'll do more later.
One hopes.
Okay.
But also, there was some consternation on Reddit, of course, because that's what Reddit is for, that there were only 3,500 people there.
Yeah.
Which I think the best theory I saw was that, first of all, it's the first weekend of summer. School just got out. People go places. And there was a rally game Friday night that was pretty well attended. And the rally match also had the USA watch party afterwards.
Yep.
And if there's a family of 4 who isn't going to go to 2 soccer games on 2 consecutive nights, there's some number probably chose to go to the rally game instead of the Forward Madison game, which is fine.
Totally.
And if 500 people did that, like that's going to significantly impact attendance on the Saturday night. So it was still a pretty good environment. And as we were talking before we started recording, there was some concern about the first 2 home games, the energy of the flock end being a little bit low. But I felt like it was better this time. There was smoke.
Yep.
Which we didn't have the first couple matches. So whoever was running the smoke thing is back, apparently.
Yep. He literally was running it down every single time. That was pretty great.
There was a lot of smoke. Yeah. We'll talk about that. The 3 goals in 8 minutes will run everybody a little bit ragged.
Yeah.
But there was singing, there was noise, there was 2 drums, not just 1.
There was a capo stand, actually.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
I didn't see the stand. I know Mitch and Chris President were on the megaphone.
Yeah, they didn't take the stand, and it kind of became a kid jungle gym after a while. But it was present.
I think it was used during the rally match. I think I did see that.
Okay.
That it was out for the rally match and was used as a capo stand for that. But
that's cool.
But yeah, the feeling as I've been talking to folks is that there's, for various reasons that we'll maybe get into at a later time, there's no longer an official flock nonprofit organization at this moment. So it's kind of like anybody who wants to lead a song or bring a flag, just kind of do that,
Yeah.
and nobody's gonna tell you not to.
Yeah.
And I think people have already started to kind of get that hint, and there's some people who have not been part of the official flockdom who are just starting to sing songs and bringing some new songs and bringing some props. There was a giant potato and a giant potato peeler
Yeah, prop of the year for
at the
sure.
match for Boise. Get it? Because Idaho. Uh,
Yes.
which I thought was fantastic. So that's looking up. Things are looking up. In that regard. Now, we'll say this now. We'll probably say it again at the end of the show. We need the flock in to look good on Wednesday night because we are on ESPN2,
Yeah.
and we're going to get some channel surfers. We're going to get an impression of Madison and Madison fans. So let's show up. Let's get into this game because this is going to be a fun one to talk about.
Yeah.
Overall impressions first from you.
Before we scored the 4 goals to seal it, I was pretty nervous. I will
Yeah.
admit there was a lot of nerves. Their goal went in, and I think the whole flock end was like, "Oh no,
Here we go.
one of these."
One of
Yeah,
these
here we go.
where we dominate the game and get a draw
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
lose even.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not going to play both halves of the match attacking the flock end goal. But the confidence that we start with at the beginning of the match attacking our goal
Mm-hmm.
is awesome, was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go the other way and we watched them score up close. Ah, crap.
Yeah.
So I think there is some degree of the fans that we need to. I think the team has earned one more step in the direction of trust. I don't know that, I don't know that we trust them if our team goes up 1-0 that we're going to see the match out. But, this match was definitely one, if not 2 steps in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
But all that beyond that, the toughest question that we got to ask ourselves, Rob, on this podcast is what was the best goal? Holy cats. Really like a smorgasbord.
It's not even goal of the week. It's his goal of this game.
Right.
What's our favorite goal? Oh man, I don't even know. We'll vote at the end. How about that?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll look at where did the Fatma ratings go?
Yeah.
I was also going to say who is our best player. But I'm looking at Fatma and the ratings are not on there now.
Yeah. Well, the ratings are always skewed by the guys who score.
Yes.
We spoke with Coach Glazer, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to the post-game quotes, these are some of the best post-game quotes that we've gotten. It's always easy to get good post-game quotes when you win 5-0.
Yeah.
But we got the chance to interview Hakeem Carmoko and Claudel and Gubo, 2 French African speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just funny, man. They're just a good
They're
tandem.
hilarious. They're
And
great.
they're not the only tandem on the team. I don't know that Jackson Castro and Roman Torres are like BFFs, but that Creighton background, I think they linked up for a really great goal. Just the chemistry they have in midfield. The defense is moving together, stepping together. But yeah, tell us. You don't have the ratings for FOTMob.
I got it.
We'll have
I
to-
actually screenshotted them yesterday. FOTMob doesn't have
Yeah.
the ratings on there anymore, but I did screenshot them because I thought they're so hilarious. But according to FOTMob, which again these numbers are like you say, they're not they don't tell the whole story necessarily, but
Mhm.
Roman Torres 9.2. I don't know. Yeah, and Jake Dengler on the other side 3.8. I've never seen the FOTMob rating that low.
Yeah.
But he just got scorched repeatedly. But I thought Ngubu was really, really solid. He has an 8.8.
Mhm.
You kind of after the match talking to Glazer, you said Ngubu might have been the player of the game.
Yeah.
This one,
I think so.
I mean, Carfalatore had a good game. He had a solid game defensively, first of all,
Mhm.
and then scored at the end, which was nice. I don't know. I thought Ryan Carmichael was great. I mean, let's talk about the lineup first of all because
Mhm.
Carvalho gets his first start. We talked about that Indy game, and the
Yep.
question on the table was of those bench guys that started that game, who do we think earned a start?
Yeah.
And we talked about Cage Romanchin, and we talked about obviously Tenzing Mansky, the goalkeeper who did really well in that game, but Carvalho with that incredible tackle on Bruno Rendon and just defensive consistency throughout. earned himself a start in this. And Glazer basically affirmed that when we asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, that's kind of the point of those games, is to see who's ready to step up." And he did. He played
Yeah.
really well in this one. The other thing that we've seen Colin McCamey wander forward
Hmm.
from his back
Yep.
line position, and they actually just went ahead and moved him into midfield for this one. Like he
Yeah.
basically played in the 8. He played in the Jackson Castro's normal spot.
Yeah, and that was hard to see from my spot in the flock end, but I definitely did notice he's looking a little taller. He must be standing a little closer to us, um, and he does good work in the midfield.
Yeah.
And Boise really did sit in a low block. And Rob, you've been telling us all year that we don't know how to break down a low block, and it doesn't make sense to overload your defense if you're facing a low block. What are you
Mhm.
going to do with 5 defenders against a
Right.
low block? Well, one strategy is to push up both of your wingbacks.
Mhm.
And we've been trying that for 10 games, and it does work.
Mhm.
But another strategy is to take one of your defenders and play him in midfield so that
Mhm.
your 2 current midfielders can move and play a little bit more forward. That's what we tried today, and it definitely worked for our first goal. And I think it contributed a lot to the rest of the goals too, or
Well,
at least the second and third.
and I think it contributed to Boise's inability to do anything going forward.
Yes.
They just could not do
Yeah.
anything. It wasn't even just defending our box. It was letting them get anywhere near our box. Like they just
Hmm.
couldn't. I also think, Derek Gebhardt often, as is often the case, had a lot of freedom to roam, and he was kind of all over the place for the 56 minutes that he played. I think it's worth noting 2 things that I think contributed to this match. The result here is, first of all, they played on Wednesday. We didn't, so they obviously there's that. We're going to
Yep.
have that to deal with now on Wednesday for the Fort Wayne game, but for this one, we were rested. They were less so. Also, I just took a look at the lineup earlier in the day, and I realized Boise on average is more than 2 years older than Forward Madison.
And that's exactly how they looked.
Yeah. Nate Miller did bring a lot of veteran talent to that club, and
Hmm.
veteran is another word for older,
Hmm.
right? And when especially when you're going from Wednesday to Saturday, that turnaround is a lot harder when you're 28 than when you're
Yeah.
24.
Hmm.
You know, and the choice that Matt Glazer made, which I love to see, this sort of merciless killer instinct, is that these guys are tired, but you could say these guys are tired so we can kind of take it easy, or you could say, no, we're going to destroy them because they're tired. and
Hmm.
and the press, which was immediate, like we didn't wait to start pressing, like they were pressing immediately and pressing
Hmm.
hard and not letting them get out of their own end. And the effect in that is, not only are we going to make it difficult for you now, we're going to make sure that when we're an hour into this game, you're going to be dead. You're going to be
Yes.
completely gassed at the 60th minute. And I wonder, I thinking about it, rewatching the game today, I should have asked Matt this, but I wonder if the sort of the relatively early triple substitution was planned,
Okay.
and it's possible. I think that Matt said to Derek Gebhardt and to and who else got subbed off? Steven Anarjamfi, like, go harder than you normally would for an hour, and no, you're not going to have to do it the whole 90 minutes, but go harder than you normally would.
Hmm.
And then when they are at their lowest, then that's when we're going to bring in the fresh legs.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. And the substitutes broke this game, is what broke this game open.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and credit to Glazer, great subs. I think
Mm-hmm.
all 3, no, 2 of those subs scored. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a great move, a stroke of genius from the manager. Um, but yeah, you're exactly right. That substitution window is really what changed the game from a 1-1 nervy affair
Mm-hmm.
to 3 goals in 8 minutes.
Yep, exactly right. We should also say they did not start Dennis Kostishin, who is their lead scorer,
Hmm.
and he made an impact on the game when he came in at halftime.
Yes, he did.
And their second leading scorer, Nick Moon, was not available due to a red card, which is a bummer because he's a Wisconsin kid, and he was actually Lori Bell's teammate at UW Milwaukee
Nice.
for 1 year in 2014. So they were, Boise was a step behind to begin with, and that's why they started in that low block.
Hmm.
Besides just being good at that, that's probably why. But even
And when oh, go ahead.
But I was saying, even with all those excuses, 5-1 is not an acceptable result for them.
Oh no, they looked bad.
Yeah.
I would say 3 points from Greenville and Boise together is a fine result because in Greenville we had all the excuses with the new stadium and we had to get
Sure.
out there and
Mhm.
whatever, tough, whatever. So, all right, I'll take that. But we we told Glazer about our predictions from last week. You said we need 9 points from these 3 matches, and you're exactly correct. There's blood in the water, and we got to get our Sharks moving.
Yep,
No Corpus
100%.
Christi.
100%. We'll talk more about those next couple of games in a little bit. But um, because of the press, Boise, and for whatever reason, they were just having a hard time. They just could not get out of their own end, really, very much at all. And they ended the first half with 0 shots and
Yep.
1 touch in our box.
Ooh, that I didn't know.
Yeah, they ended up with 3 all night long. 3 times they touched the ball in our box because of the press, because our guys were relentless and merciless and press and counter press, we should say, so that when we lost possession, we were right on top of it again. And this is this is the second game, I think. Corpus Christi was the first, and then this one, where we saw that sort of killer instinct that Mark Segbergs told us about before the season started. That when we press, then we counter press, and then when we get the ball back, we're coming for you. And they really started to. They weren't doing the pull it back thing. They did some pretty good midfield, knocking it around to draw the block out. But we saw a lot of really direct play going forward, which I think was really refreshing and just fun to watch. More fun than the grind. It did take us 40 minutes to get a goal. We had a couple of really good chances early. Gebhardt had one that he put near post, and the Cleaver, the goalkeeper, smothered. Bulma very nearly scored on a corner, just bent it a little bit wide.
Yep.
And Claudio Ngubu and Jacob Kroll were tangling the entire night, which was fun. That was a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah.
Kroll kept him pretty contained, but Ngubu kept winning corners off him.
Yes.
Which is a victory of a sort,
I really thought that looked like a 24-year-old versus a 28-year-old battle. Jake had to do everything that he could to get his body to be just good enough, whereas Claude had to use his brain to just get one step past him, and then once he had one step, he had the physics. So, that was fun soccer to watch.
That was.
Yeah.
And that was an all-night battle, but except for in the 40th minute, Ngubu was all alone on the left wing, and I think it was Ramon Torres who found him out there, and he ended up one-on-one with Jonathan Ricketts, not Jacob Kroll, and got him to lean one way, and then took it toward the end line. Very easily got himself some space and put in the cross, which was gorgeous, soft, easy, looping. It was not. It was already coming down, like in the middle of the box, and I've never seen Derek Gebhardt jump that high.
Yeah,
I don't know where that came from, but he went up and he got up over everybody. And if you want to show a kid on a video like how to score a header, like he got up, he hit it right at the apex of his jump. He snapped his head so he had to put a little bit of pace on it. It wasn't just one of those redirect things, because he was 10 yards from the goal.
Yeah,
roughly, maybe more, maybe closer to the penalty spot. And his fantastic, his braids like flipped up in the air while he was, doing the thing with his head. And put it exactly where he needed to put it. He was to get outside of Cleaver's range, and just a gorgeous goal.
Totally not a vintage Geb goal, but nice for him to remind us that he's still got that one in the locker.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that was, again, it was nice because it did take us a while to get it, but it's always nice to score right at the end of a half, right? So, and they were able to lock it down and go to the break 1-0. Again, coming out of the second half, though, I think Boise came out with a little bit more life.
Yep.
Right, fair to say. And I'm not sure our guys were complacent or on the back foot so much as Boise just looked better.
Yeah,
More
well, they
energy.
made halftime subs, right? Do they make one halftime
They
sub or
made two.
two? Yeah.
They brought Kostishin in,
Hmm.
and I don't remember who the second sub was, but they did make a couple of changes. And
Yeah.
like I said, Kostishin made an immediate impact. Like he got the assist on their goal only like 5 minutes into the second half.
Yeah.
Which was a slightly soft foul from Josh Boma.
Yeah.
He took down Thomas Among while Thomas didn't have the ball, but he was about to receive a through ball, so it was an opportunity. And Joshua did kind of tap him on the shoulder, and he fell down. But it wasn't within shooting distance as a free kick, but it was a good a well worked set piece. Actually, it wasn't Kostic on the assist. He actually took the free kick,
Hmm.
but he put it exactly the right spot, right off the training ground. It's headed back across, headed in by Luan Brito, and he kind of
Yeah, both
he
of those
tapped.
two goals came from the exact same spot on the field, which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty funny.
Yes.
They battled well. I was really upset actually at that point. I could tell that they came out of halftime well. You were exactly right, and it felt like they were doing a lot of diving, like an Omaha level of going down, because that was the only thing that was working for them all night.
And they were getting all the calls too.
Yeah,
I got the
yeah,
one happened right in front of me when in the first half, a guy fell down while Derek Gebhardt was touching his back, and and he got the call. Like
yeah,
Derek didn't push him at all, didn't trip him, but he got the call, and there was several of those.
yeah.
And like I said, at that moment in the 50th minute or so, you're thinking, oh, here we go.
Yep.
We're gonna dominate this game and get a 1-1 draw.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think on one of the broadcasts that we saw, it wasn't this last game because I didn't watch the broadcast for this game, but the announcer, I think, mistakenly said we haven't scored in the second half this year. The only possible way I could think he was right about that was we haven't scored in the second half at home this year. Um, that could be true considering we have had two home games in which we
Right.
lost 2-0 and won 3-0,
Yeah.
all in the first half. But yeah, you're exactly right. And there was, I think, a little bit of angst. I think too the flock end not being full contributed to a little bit more anxiety, a little bit less calm, a little bit less peace. You need your friends around you to kind of remind you, hey, we're still
It's
in
okay.
this. There's
It's okay. Yeah.
plenty of ball left. Um, so if you're in the flock end and you're getting a little nervous, come see me and I'll pat you on the back and I'll give you a thumbs up and we'll be
It's all
feeling
right.
good. And
Well, and
and
after
we'll
this game,
push
you
another
can
goal.
feel good about saying it, like because they proved they can actually do it.
Yeah, four goals in the second half, man. I can't imagine we've ever done as a team.
I don't think so. I think there was. I can think of, maybe I'll look this up somehow, but I can think of one other game that we won by 4. So
Yep.
this matched our highest margin of victory. That one was 6-2, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
In maybe 2022 or 23.
Something like that.
And we lost a game 6-2 in that same season. So
Yeah.
our goal differential evened out. But in any case, but yeah, this kind of game is not what we're used to from Forward Madison.
Nope.
But I'll take the Corpus Christi match was kind of a precursor to this, where we saw the ability to score multiple goals,
Yeah.
which is a thing you got to do sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think it was about 15 minutes later. Well, it was about 5 minutes after the goal that they made the subs.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then brought in Hakeem Karamoko, and Ryan Carmichael also came in on that sub, right? And who was the third? Do you remember?
Castro, I think.
Oh, right, Jackson Castro.
Because I don't think he started.
Right. And he came on for Joshua Boma, which then McCamey then moved back to his more normal defensive position. And Castro took up space in the midfield and did really, really well. And actually got the assist on Roman Torres' goal, which we'll talk about. But within just a couple minutes of coming on, Karamoko not only starts the play but finishes the goal. And it started as a Boise throw in, and it was against the press, and Roman Torres poked it away up to Ryan Carmichael. He just popped it ahead a few feet to Karamoko, and Karamoko makes this brilliant daring run, like diagonal right
Yes.
through the center of the park, right at Jake Dengler.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he had been watching the match and saw that Dengler was a little bit vulnerable, or it was just that's the guy I'm going at right now. Before he got to the defenders, he popped it over to Ryan Carmichael. He's up against Jacob Crawley. He runs to the end line, pops it across, and you can see when Carmichael puts the cross in, it's very near to the end line, and you can see if you watch it back, you see Karamoko's body like relax a little bit because he thought it was going out, and that's what he told us
Mm-hmm.
after the match. And I kind of think some of the defenders did too, thought it was just going out of play. But then Claudel Ngubu is not in the picture if you watch the highlight, and then all of a sudden he appears,
Mm-hmm.
all 6'5" of them, and if he's 6'1", that ball's out of bounds. But
Yeah.
he steps in and he because he knows he can, and he just very gently. That guy can make a gentle touch, which we found a couple
Deft.
other spots. Deft is a good word. And he just cushions it down and falls right to Karamoko. And as soon as Karamoko saw him come into the, like he was going to get it, he's like, oh, and he like activates himself again, takes a step to his left. Nobody comes close to him. There's nobody between him and the goal line.
Yeah.
He just does this gorgeous little side scissor kick thing on the volley, and just
So much power.
and Cleaver thought he was gonna let it fall because Cleaver went down. The goalkeeper thought he was gonna take it on a bounce and put it low, but he just scissored it in about 4 feet off the ground, and Cleaver had no chance.
Yeah. Hakeem told us that it was his first professional goal, and it looked like he was just finally ready to score one. He played a professional season over at Loudon, and obviously didn't score.
Actually, what I found out subsequently, that you kind of mentioned that he didn't do much at Loudon. He was injured that whole season.
Okay.
He was like he was like not playing for like almost a year.
Okay.
So I think he did get some minutes with Loudon and got injured, and then that's he kind of referred to. Maybe we'll have him on the show, get him to tell the whole story. But he kind of referred to some adversity that he's had to overcome. But you're right, 100%. He was just so relieved and elated to get that first goal, and the celebration was hilarious. That like I don't think he planned to do a front flip.
Yeah, he just
but he's like sort of spontaneous, like just joy, and he does his front flip and lands flat on his ass.
Yeah, and Claude almost loses his pants.
Yep. I love it. It was so great. And that turns out to be the game winner. And that's just such it's just such a relief, elation, whatever, to score, to give up the equalizer, and then get a winner. Like that's it's just like a relief kind of, And it wasn't very long that we had to worry about giving up an equalizer because Ryan Carmichael got one like 5 minutes later.
Yeah. And before we go there, I just have to say I think Hakeem and Claude are gonna have like a little bit of a Giannis Thanasis thing going on, where two guys in a new country just like making each other a little bit more comfortable. At least somebody knows like where I'm from and what I like to do, what my traditions are, and something like that.
Yeah.
So I hope they kind of unlock each other. I thought it was really pertinent that they came to our interview together because it really kind of showed that they're not that they're not independent, but they're two guys working together on the same team for the same goal. I'm really pleased with that assist, and I'm hoping it goes both ways.
Yeah. That was actually really cool that they came in because Hakeem is young. He's only 20, something like that, and Claudel obviously has the Division I NCAA experience and is a few years older. So I wonder if Hakeem was like nervous or something to talk to us, and Claudel was like, "Oh, I'll come with you,"
Yeah.
But they both did great, and you watch that on YouTube. It's just the joy on those two guys is great, and it was cool because Hakeem was a New York kid, and he had his Knicks jersey on, so like he's like half watching the end of the Knicks game off to the side while we're talking to him, which is great.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's only like 5 minutes later, and we start to pile on, and Roman Torres. Man, I can't say enough about him in this game because for him to look up and to see the division of this, to see that Boise's chasing a goal now, right? So they're high. They've got only two guys back, and they got Ryan Carmichael right between them. Very high, and he just pops a he places a long ball perfectly, like it lands right at the top of the box where Ryan can chase it down. Right, he knows Ryan's faster than those guys, especially at this point in the game. And I think we have to give Ryan. I think we got to start calling Ryan Chip Carmichael.
Yeah, Chippy.
Because he chipped him again. And a really cool little like scissor kick thing. Like I don't know. I'm not sure how he exactly did that. With his right foot.
It was like a fighting game move kind of thing,
Yeah,
like a little
yeah.
side kick, flying kick, whatever.
Mhm.
And the skill to chip a goalkeeper who's not off his line, like the goalkeeper was in fine position. It was just
He was okay.
literally like
He was
perfect shot.
Watching back, Cleveland was a little bit unsure
Mhm.
because he kind of had a thought of coming out to try to claim that long ball, and then realized Carmichael was going to get to it, so then he started to go back. But you're right, he wasn't very far off his line, and to loop it up over him and get it down without putting it over the bar, that's pretty impressive from Carmichael.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't. I mean, the perfect guy to get a goal. He has been needing a goal. He's been doing everything. Even later in the game, he took some other good shots that were just over, got saved, whatever. So I'm hoping that this goal kind of spurs him on in the same way that Carmichael is gonna. Hopefully, this is gonna be the first of many.
Yeah.
Carmichael, I think, this might just unlock him. And the fans have been saying, "Oh, we're not as good," doubting it. Glazer has been telling us every single week we talk to him, it's easier to play at home. We are better when we play at home. And I'm hoping that rings true for Ryan Carmichael as much as it does for the rest of the squad.
Yeah.
He could use a good run of form here. That would really take this attack to, what Matt Cairns told us it was going to be preseason and what Segbers told us it was going to be at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, a little confidence goes a long way, and a goal goes a long way to giving you some confidence. Because speaking of confidence, he almost scored another one like a minute later.
Yeah,
like we got possession back, and we were just kind of knocking on the midfield, not in the boring tentative way, but just in a way that drew them out a little bit. And they got out a little bit out of shape, and he found some space and ripped a shot and went over by about a foot. From about 20 yards out, which was nice to see him with that confidence to rip another one. Now that the goal that he put over, if you didn't watch the broadcast, you didn't see this, but when he put that shot over, it was caught by a fan. I'm not sure if it was a fan or if it was like a staff person, but it was like he caught it. It was like, yeah, and the fans down there were cheering and stuff, and the commentators like, and it's caught, what a catch, and they were like showing that when Roman Torres scored. So the broadcast missed the goal.
Oh no!
So as they come back from the replay, and they were literally talking about the fan who caught the ball, and they come back from the replay, and Roman Torres is in the corner celebrating his goal. Thankfully, they had the video for the replay, so we could actually see what happened, but they didn't catch it live. But basically, what happened, which I will say, I didn't get video on either Carmichael or Torres's goals because I was still posting Hakeem's goal.
The previous one.
Because
both
so
of them?
fast. I missed both of them.
Oh, that's funny.
And apparently the press box was in quite disarray also. Jillian from the front office was telling us that it was kind of hard to keep up up there. But
it's better that we're missing it for that reason than missing it for hydration break TV commercials.
Right,
so
exactly. Right.
I'd rather be watching League One.
Right, 100%. But basically, Jake Dengler again, basically is a little bit too casual with the pass out of the back, and Jackson Castro slides in and intercepts it, pops up, finds Roman Torres. He just takes one touch and slots it in. Like their defending at that point was completely defeated.
Yeah,
like they were they had nothing left.
Yeah, I hope that goal means something to our guys to trust the high press, because it's always hard to run your fullest at a guy who looks like he's going to beat you with a pass, But if you keep trusting yourself, then maybe your teammate will also close out on the ball and run his fullest, and then you'll get a mistake somewhere up the field. And this goal was the perfect example of turnover, one pass, shot, goal. That's the kind of goal that separates you from a non-playoff team in League One to a playoff team in League One. You got to capitalize when your opponents make mistakes.
100%. We almost gave one back. This was the only real
Mhm.
defensive lapse for us, other than the goal we did give up, which I find difficult to say was a defensive lapse. It was just a really nice place to work set
Yeah.
piece. But this Dennis Kostichin gets the ball about 40 yards from goal, takes 2 touches, and again, we've given up this goal a couple of times where somebody's 25 yards or so away. Nobody steps to him. They're all kind of they're sitting back anticipating, and he says, "Okay, you're gonna let me shoot. I'm gonna shoot," and then it goes in. This one went off the posts,
Mhm.
so we got the post bailed us out on this one. But and if it had gone in, it wouldn't have changed the result.
Right.
But again, that's just a one little lapse, that it was okay. Um, and that was like the 85th or so. And that was like immediately after they subbed in Jalen Shannon for
Yeah.
uh for a winger for Kenny Kenyani maybe.
Yep. I think you're right.
But basically it was a defensive substitution. The first 3 or 4 substitutions were basically like for like substitutions. That last one,
Mhm.
the Jalen Shannon coming in, was definitely a defensive substitution. After when I posted at that point, it was like, it looks like that's finally decided we have enough goals.
At 4-1.
Yes, but and then immediately they almost get a second, right? But partly because it takes a minute to get up to the speed of the game, or whatever. But it was definitely Jalen Shannon who was there and could have taken a step forward to
Mhm.
challenge Kostichin. But so the guy bailed out, and when you're doing good, you get lucky sometimes. And then Kerfalo Torre gets his goal, and then 90+1 or whatever it was.
Yeah, when he played against, Indy last week, I said something like, "He looks like a shelter dog trying to impress new parents."
Yep.
In this game, he looked like a starter. He completely lost that.
Hmm.
I don't want to call it anxiety, and I don't want to call
Hmm.
it enthusiasm, but it's something in between those two.
Yep.
He totally didn't have that. He was calm and collected and just
Yep.
played strong defense and was rewarded with a goal.
Yeah, and it was a really significant scoring chance that led to the corner. Actually, I mean, Ngubu almost had the 5th when
Hmm.
Jackson Castor played it to Carmichael to the end line, crossed it in at the near post, and a defender put it out. But Claudel was right there to tap it in, and just the defender was there with him. And then Colin McCamey puts it all the way at the far post. As McCamey is about to say the corner, Ryan Carmichael made a near post run from the far post to the near post and dragged the defender with him.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that created a little bit more space at the far post where Torre was, and Torre
Hmm.
was able to just kind of push away from his marker and drift back into a little bit of space. And again, textbook header. He didn't jump. He didn't have to jump very high. He went up just a little bit, enough to put the ball downward, and it basically hit the ground at the goal line and bounced in, which is perfect. And that was his first professional goal,
Yeah.
which is great. And as they noted on the telecast, the former hockey player uh,
There you go.
scored the goal. He actually, did you know that he was a 2-sport athlete in college?
Totally did not.
Yeah, he's from Quebec, so he's from Canada. So
Sure.
hockey is kind of like the thing. But he always played soccer and hockey, and then played soccer and hockey his first year or two at Emerson College in New York,
Okay.
and then and ultimately decided to drop hockey and stick with soccer, and we are glad he did.
Yeah, we sure are. Like I said before, we got some really great post game quotes. If you're listening to this and have 10 or 15 more minutes, go check out the post game
Hmm.
quotes. It really does
Yeah,
build the characters of the team for this year. But
yeah,
I think the most powerful thing we got was when Glazer told us, "Yeah, I think Kerf has been the most improved player of the year."
yeah.
Um, and he definitely was an afterthought. I definitely remember seeing him come on at the beginning of the season and being like, "Oh yeah, we have that guy. I forgot about him. Can't forget about him anymore."
Yeah. He
Two
was like
great
an 87th
defensive.
minute sub early in the season, right?
Exactly, and now here he is, 2 starts, 1 goal.
Yeah.
And you have to play I suppose you don't have to play him on Wednesday because you might need rest, but you have to play him, if not Wednesday, then on Saturday against Cosmos.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, especially with Turner Humphrey still out, which
mhm,
sounds like he might be coming back relatively before too long. But still, like you got you're doing all right with your second
yeah,
guy there, right? Um, the other thing that struck out to me from Matt's post game was that Cledell Ngubu, he said he's just scratching the surface.
yeah,
And we've seen him grow quite a bit too over the course of the season,
yep.
to the point that he's just like the best player on the field at any given time.
Yeah. I think I feel safe enough saying that this was his best game in a Mingo shirt, and we've said that before, and hopefully we continue to say that again.
Yeah.
He he's kind of giving Usain Bolt in the Dortmund trial. I don't know if you remember when Usain Bolt tried out for Dortmund. That was a whole thing. That was more of a PR thing than a serious thing.
Yeah.
But in Google, it looks like a guy who's got the physical tools and just needs to put his touch right every single time consistently.
Mhm.
And yesterday he did. And
Yeah.
it's all there for him. Like you said, he's got a deft, gentle touch. He's able to assist and not just score. He's got more moves than cut to the byline and hesitate.
Right. Yeah, but he's got
Yeah,
some
he's
step
coming on
overs.
strong.
There was a moment in a chance that didn't really come of anything, but I noted because he was like kind of going full speed downhill and then played a ball to the end line to Jackson Castro that was so perfectly weighted and it had almost nothing on it. But it's just like this nice tiny little touch just to get Jackson to the and to be able to change that intensity, to change pace like that. I think is really impressive, and I'm really excited to see what else he brings. Couple stats to throw out there. We had only. I was surprised to see we only had 49% possession. I think.
Oh yeah, me too.
I think Boise was never able to put together any long stretches of possession, but I guess what they did technically have possession last time we were pressing them, so I guess that counts. We had these numbers are funny. I actually posted them because they were so funny. We had 22 shots, 7 on target, 7 blocked. So several of those blocked shots would have been on target had they got through. They had 5 shots, 2 of them on target, one of which was a goal. And the other one was the free kick that we should mention JJ Arms wasn't tested much, but when tested, he came through on that free kick. That was a hell of a good save.
Oh, yes.
that he
Yes.
made, which was shortly after their goal. So if he doesn't make that save, this is an entirely different match. And we go down 2-1 at that point. That's completely changes everything. 14 of our shots came from inside the box. We had 39 touches in their box, which I'm sure is the highest of the year.
Yeah.
They had 3, as I mentioned, in ours. 87% passing accuracy, which is much more where I want to see it. We've talked before about the ratio of passes completed in your own half versus the opponent's half, and if you're like 60% on your side of the field versus 40% on their side, that's pretty good. We had 66% of our passes in their half.
Wow.
2/3 of our completed passes were in their half of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's complete dominance of possession, even if it's not like we don't have most of the possession. The possession we have is far more productive than theirs. Did still rely a lot on long balls, 49 long balls, of which we completed 26 for 53%. So we're relying on that, but they're connecting a lot, and we saw the leading to goals in some instances. Talk about the press, the statistical manifestation of the press: 25 tackles to 7 of theirs. Pretty incredible. Complete statistical dominance if you look at the numbers. And again, the ratings, the FOTMOB ratings, the player ratings show that. I mean, we have Giamfi at 6.3. They kind of kept him quiet up top. JT Harms has a 6.3 only because he didn't have anything to do all night. Kevin Carmichael 6.9 because again our defenders didn't have much to do, but everybody else is over 7.5 on our side, and they have 3 guys under 5, which is insane. Dengler, Yarrow at 4.7, and their goalkeeper Cleaver at 4.6. Like it was just complete dominance statistically and in every other way.
Yeah, you love to see it.
Yeah.
Going back to you were talking about 53 long balls attempted. Can you recall Karamoko's driving run for his goal? He was making a run through midfield, and then he passed off to Carmichael, kind of sent him a little too far. Do you think that was a long ball? Do you think that qualifies as a long pass?
I don't know, honestly. And is a cross a long ball? Is like Ryan's ball that went across to Claudel? Is that called a long ball? I'm not sure.
You know what? Yes, I'm almost positive that is. Because I think that's I guess Claude's first cross then too would be considered a long ball. Those 2 goals are the ones that came off long balls. Well, I wonder if a long ball qualifies off a corner kick. Because you can do all the long passes you want.
Yeah.
Well,
right. I mean, Carmichael's goals was a long ball from Torres. I mean, that's
Okay, all right.
when I think of long ball, that's what I think of. It's a ball over the top. I wonder, and maybe I'll call Fight Mob's headquarters and ask,
All right.
is a cross considered a long ball?
Sure. Yes. Great
Because
question.
it might be. In which case, those are fine. But regardless, the fact that we're connecting over half of them, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and
Right?
they're effective. Yeah.
Right, and they're effective. They're not. Last night they weren't desperate. They weren't like we have nothing else to try, so we're going to try this. They
Yeah.
were much more purposeful and intentional than that.
Mhm.
I feel like, which is
Yeah, and
great.
I did just want to mention one more thing before we get out of here. We are going a little long, but a big winner from last night's game, I think, probably the number one person feeling good has got to be Matt Carnes. Looking at all these guys who he's brought in, who had success, and yeah, I'm just running with the it's harder to win on the road, so you have to win all your games at home. And if that's the case, the guys that he's bringing in, Karamoko, the new transfer, scores in his second game. Um, uh, 20 new players or whatever it is. You've got goals coming from all over the pitch. You've got backup defenders scoring. You've got lone midfielders coming in and putting in good performances.
Mm-hmm.
You have managed to not unsettle Gebhardt and let him be the wise old man without making his goals drop,
Yep.
Yes, apparently he's still got a 30-inch vertical. That's insane. Um, so praise to Matt Carnes too for assembling this team because when that was Matt Glazer's job, we just ran out a bunch of old guys, and that's what Boise tried. And I'd much rather be in forward's position on a 5-1 than Boise's position.
Right, 100%. And the other thing besides it's hard to play on the road is it's hard to put 20 young guys together who've never played together before. And it takes some time and some patience to get to where they're clicking, and they are clicking 100%. Even against Greenville, you saw them clicking. You saw the cohesion that you didn't see earlier in the season, and even against Indy, you saw that. Last night was probably the best of it, like the quick short passing that they were doing, the triangles that they were finding. Just they look like they played together a long time, and it's been a few months.
Yeah.
And it's coming together. I feel like it's really coming together. So it has to continue to come together on Wednesday against Fort Wayne. The tables will be turned, right? Fort Wayne did not play on the weekend, so we'll be the tired team and they'll be the rested team this time around. We'll be at home, which is nice. And they've got some significant scoring threats. We talked last week with Brian Biedenbach from Fort Wayne Footy that I think Tig Healy is going to be a problem. I mean, we have to key on him. I think, so we'll be tired, but I think we can still press and get after him. Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping we get at least one defender back from injury. Going through the handshake line, Aaron Edwards I said something like, "Can't wait to have you back," and he was like, "Next week, next week, next week." That's what they all say. Okay, I'm only giving that a half truth, but hey, why would he lie to me? We're friends.
He's been on the show. You can't lie to a podcaster after you've been on the show.
No, that's crazy.
That's just kind of natural law. That'll be nice. That'll be great if he's back. If he's back and fit and fresh. That would be very nice to see against Fort Wayne. And then of course we host Cosmos on the weekend next weekend. That's when we should be able to get back. I would hope. I mean, we really outplayed them last time, and it was a little bit unlucky that we got the draw. And I think our guys are going to feel like we owe them something. And then we have a break, and then our guys are off for a week. I'm going kayaking that weekend when we're off, and then we're back at it July 1. All right. I love talking about these games. I hope there's more to talk about next week. I hope there's 2 more games like this. We have 10 goals to talk about next week.
Yeah. Well, in 2 league games at home, we scored 8 goals. So
I mean, I don't know that we've ever done that. Honestly, 8 goals. I mean, we've had individual games where we score 4 or 6 or whatever, but to put it together twice in a row. Twice in a row at home. And then we had the Greenville game in there, which is a bit of an aberration. Obviously, Indy was completely different, a whole different thing. Like, you don't even worry about that. But yeah, 8 goals in 2 matches at home. When they get 2 more matches, let's get 8 more goals.
Sounds good to me.
And 6 more points. All right, we're going to take a short pause. We'll be right back. Ethan, have a great time in Kansas City.
I sure will.
Go
Yeah, I'll send back
Algeria.
some pictures.
Yeah. Send us pictures. We'll talk all about it next week. All right, we'll be back right after this. All right, we have a very special guest today on the program. Not that there's ever too much soccer, but there's a lot of soccer right now with the World Cup and everything. So we're going to step away from soccer for a minute and talk about our fellow denizens of Breese Stevens Field. And here to tell us about it is the voice of the Madison Radicals, Jason Joyce. How you doing, sir?
Hey, doing great.
Good. Thanks for being here. You have been an evangelist for the Radicals for a long, long time. As well as you're like the PA guy, right?
I'm the PA guy, yes.
At Breese Stevens Field. But
Yep.
And they've been playing there longer than Forward Madison has, right? Like
they have 2013, I believe.
Okay, so is this their 13th season there?
Yeah, but whatever, we subtract the COVID year. So
yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. A long time anyway. So it was not that it's a beautiful, pristine venue now, but it's a lot nicer than it was then, I bet.
Well, it was funky then, the infrastructure of the stadium was not great. They didn't really have any tenants other than community soccer. I think there's some high school soccer that probably went on there.
I went to one or two like Madison 56ers games there.
It was
rough.
Rob, the Badgers played there when I was in college. So I had a couple of friends on the team, and we used to ride our bike out to the frightening east side to watch games. There's a massive crown on the field. The old days of Breese were great. But yeah, for the first couple of years, the Radicals played on natural grass at Breese, and there weren't any, concession stands or anything like that. Right. It was all very ad hoc.
Very ad hoc. Tell us about the history for folks who maybe don't know of the Radicals and their and that league, right? The professional Ultimate League.
Yeah, Ultimate is an interesting sport in many ways, but mostly it's grassroots, and there is a governing body of called it's now called USA Ultimate, sort of the goal. There's college teams, club teams, but it's largely amateur, and the what at that time was called the American Ultimate Disc League, like super clumsy name, AUDL, came along and played a season, and there were some guys in town who had sort of invested in the franchise, realizing that Ultimate was big in Madison, and a guy named Tim DeBile came along. The guys who had originally made the investment knew that this was going to be a cool thing, but they weren't really plugged into the community. They weren't really players themselves. And Tim had been a summer league player and played club a little bit. And he said, I really, I can do this. I can run the team. I can be the coach, the general manager. He owned at the time a little graphic design firm too. So he's like, I can do everything. You can make the logo, we can deal with the identity, and I can install a defense. And he was plugged in with the good players here. And we had Madison is a hotbed of Ultimate. And at the time there was a great group of players from, sort of guys in their mid to late 30s all the way down to college who were very good. So we knew Madison was going to be good from day one. What we didn't know, I think, is what the games were actually going to look like, what the competition was going to look like. The pro field is different. We play on a football-sized field, and the reason for that was we can just, real Ultimate is played on a field that's smaller, or traditional Ultimate. And so the idea, the bet from the guys in the league was we can just drop our games onto any high school or college football field and be ready to go. We won't have to paint lines or anything.
So does that hold true in other venues then? Like when the Radicals go on the road, are they playing on smaller fields? Or
no, they play on football fields largely. The irony, of course, now is that Breeze is really painted for soccer all the time, and
Right,
so
right.
they still have to paint a line, but it's easier to adapt. And I think it's, it leads to a more wide open game. It's tougher to defend, obviously, a larger field. So you get more offense and better downfield, sort of dramatic, dynamic playing.
And I can remember sort of mid-teens, everywhere you drive in Madison, there was be an ultimate game happening.
Yeah.
Is that
still is the case?
I know I see the games like at Olin Park and at like Wingra. Is it just as popular as it always has been?
It is the summer, the local organization is called MUFA, Madison Ultimate Frisbee Association. And it's been going for, at this point, over 25 years. Into the 90s. So it's probably almost 30 years old at this point. Grew out of Madison hosted the Worlds in like 93. And they said, well, we need to start doing this here, and formed a summer league. And now there's several thousand players in the summer league. It's hard to actually get onto a summer league team at this point. And when their presence downtown isn't what it used to be, because they've had to take over these larger parks that are on the periphery. So like North Star Park on the far east side, and whatever the park is called over off Midtown Road, it might be called Midtown Park. These parks where you can drop like 6 fields. And so if you go into, it's funny because it's like these quiet parks that probably have cranes on them, most days and stuff.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden you've got dozens of ultimate players converging from all over the town. So that's been that's sort of the foundation of the grassroots, of the community.
And are the Radical players mostly local?
Yeah,
local
I think
guys?
it's what differentiates the Radicals really from just about every other major, if you can describe them as major, every other major team in town. Because even the Badgers, most of those teams are made up of people who were brought in from around the country. Yeah. Obviously the same is true for the Mallards and Forward and everything. It's gotten more diverse geographically over the years, because now we have this, so just like every other aspect of town, you've got this post-collegiate community taking hold. People come here to work for Epic and then play Frisbee. And, but largely still you have, players who went to West Memorial, came to the UW to play for the Hodags, which is the college team here. And so a lot of local connection. We call it the capital city of Ultimate. And people across the league take great issue with that, but we're sticking to it.
No, you can't declare yourself the capital of Ultimate.
We can and did.
That's how it works, guys. That's how branding is.
Exactly, right.
Like Noah's Ark has never been the world's largest water park. They just said they were.
Yeah,
and nobody disputed it. So,
right. Prove or not.
Right. So tell us about the season and how many games there are, and like when are they usually?
Yeah, it's funny. It's a little bit of a different season this year because, well, it's been a challenge, I think, every year to get on TV, so there are, I'm going to say, I don't know off the top of my head, about 14 games, probably about 8 home games. And for the first time ever this year, I don't think we play on a single Saturday. We had a game on Sunday. We've got another game on Thursday night. And then in July, we play on 3 straight Saturdays. It's like the 3rd and the 10th and the 17th. They're all home games. And, we're in now the league is called the UFA, Ultimate Frisbee Association. There's 4 divisions. We're in the Central, and the other teams in the Central are Indianapolis, Chicago, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh. And so generally it's a home and home with each of those teams. And some teams we play a little bit extra. Like I think we play Indy 3 times this year. Then on Thursday, actually, we play Salt Lake, and they're in the West, and so there's a little bit of crossover there. So, and then in late August, boy, I don't have my dates up here. I should have my dates up. I'll look it up while we're talking. But Breeze Stevens is such an amazing facility that we've hosted now championship weekend. multiple times, and we see that it's uh, the other owners from around the league come into the market, and they say, but you've got the best facility and the best location, and when we bring the teams here, we don't need to put them on buses or anything like that. So that's a real fun time. So August 27th and 28th, which I think is just the Thursday and Friday before Labor Day weekend, championship weekend will be here. So the champions of all four divisions will come to Madison for that. So
is it like a knockout playoff, like a semifinal and final?
yes, exactly. Right. So semis on Thursday night and the finals on Friday.
That's a lot of travel though for not a wealthy sport.
It can be, right. And they do, the players would be able to fill you in on the details of this. The first couple years they took school buses. So they were riding school buses to like Pittsburgh, not a great ride. Now they've got money to afford, motor coach travel at least. But yeah, luckily the Central Division where Madison plays is pretty compact relative to like the West, where it's from like Texas to Portland. So some of those teams are flying quite a bit out there.
Who are the rivals? Like
I mean, within the division, those rivalries are pretty heated. And, back to the beginnings of the Madison team, Madison was the class of the Central Division for several years. We beat everybody. And we really beat up on Chicago and Minnesota in particular, like really took that personally. I mean, I think we beat them 10 straight. And their coach and general manager is a UW grad, and there's a number of, UW grads who have been on that team over the year. Now they're very good this year. They're undefeated and their goal differential is 53. They're plus 53. They're very gaudy. And so that's a real rivalry. But on Sunday's game, when Indy was here, there was a little pushing and shoving in that game and significant trash talk. Indy led that game until the last part of the fourth quarter, and Madison ended up winning by a goal. And so that's a little grudgy there too. We've played some good, Madison won the championship in 2018 and beat LA and oh gosh, who was it in the final? I forget who they beat in the final. But the time previous to that, when we hosted championship weekend, we lost like one of the most heartbreaker games of all time to Seattle. And we've never had an opportunity to avenge that loss, unfortunately.
maybe soon.
Right.
I remember, I have a vague recollection of this, so correct me if I'm wrong. But there was some discord between two different leagues over whether or not there would be referees.
Yeah, there was a. Well, it's a good question.
But fill me in if what I'm missing there.
Well, there was another pro league that came and went pretty quickly, and I believe they did have referees. But the difference between UFA Pro Ultimate and USAU Club Ultimate is that I mean, the field is different. Some of the rules are different, but they, in the USAU version, they have what are called observers who do not make the calls. They just settle the dispute. And it gets a little comical in terms of like the stereotypes of ultimate as being a hippie sport.
I was going to say that's you're not pushing against the stereotype there.
So they still make their own calls, and then the observer steps in if there's a dispute. Whereas in the UFA, there's referees making active calls on the field. And, most of the owners and players who I've talked to about it over the years, because most of the players play both club and pro, and they'll say, yeah, when games are heated, like when it's, when you're down to a 1-goal difference and it's the fourth quarter, you can't trust yourself. You're the ultimate biased player, and, you're just not, you can't be trusted to call traveling and stuff like that. So they've gone to refs, and I think it's largely worked out pretty well, honestly. It makes the game move a lot faster. There's no standing around and arguing. It's just call is made.
Or consulting the observer. Who are the if we're coming to a match, who are the players we should watch for on this year's squad?
Yeah, it's great. Again, like speaking to sort of the traditions of Ultimate, there are, the college division is big, and there are some, sort of a top 20 hierarchy of college teams. And if you're not on one of those teams, you're not really known very well in the community. But
Mm.
Madison's probably most dynamic player right now is a guy named Anthony Gutowski, who goes by the nickname Gumby, and he went to UW Whitewater.
Oh, okay.
Completely off the radar of National Ultimate, but all he does is catch goals. So he, broke some records for the Radicals over the years, and he's a tall guy, but he's not the tallest guy on the field. And sometimes it's disc goes up, there's a crowd in the end zone, and Gumby comes down with it. So he's a lot of fun to watch. Madison is known for playing really good team defense, and they run like a zone defense where they have, sort of a group of 2 or 3 guys who travel with the disc and really try to force the other team into making a lot of throws and getting into situations where they'll, bait them into throwing into traffic. So that aspect of the team defense is really fun to watch. And then there's a new guy who's probably now one of the taller guys on the team. His name is Max Sample. And he's really come on in just the last couple of years. And not only so just because of his height, that makes him a good downfield threat, but it's, the positions are a little more fluid and Ultimate than in other sports, but generally speaking, you don't want the guys who are running deep and making these amazing catches downfield do not translate into being good throwers of the disc, but you do need both skills, but you generally don't want your guys going deep to then like turn and throw it deep. They're going to mostly make bad decisions. But Sample is good. He's a good, all over the field player. So he's a lot of fun. And then one of the old guys on the team, one of the Grizzly veterans is a guy named Sterling Kanaki. He's a Madison guy. He's an attorney in town, a really fun guy to talk to. And he is very competitive and very athletic and very fast. And I imagine he's in his mid-30s at this point. He's still making some pretty fun plays.
You mentioned that TV is a thing. I can remember that I actually wrote about the team years ago because I was in like 2000, I don't know, 14, 15. I had this before we started Madison 365. I had this dream of starting a news website about streaming TV.
Oh yeah,
which was novel then, and I did a whole thing about how the Ultimate Disc found a home on ESPN3. Is what it was called then. So is that basically, is it still in that sort of ESPN Plus, ESPN Select, whatever it's called now?
They are not connected with ESPN at all anymore. USAU has a deal with ESPN, but UFA has a streaming service that you subscribe to. I couldn't tell you how many people subscribe to it. We have a play-by-play team, including a sideline reporter at all the Breeze Stevens games.
That's cool.
It's great, and I'm surprised all the time by how many people I run into who subscribe to it. It's like $10 a month. They subscribe to it. They'll watch all the Madison games and then a few other games around the league. But they also have this product that they've started called Friday Night Frisbee, which they sell to like regional sports networks. A buddy of mine from high school works for NESN, New England Sports Network. And, baseball used to be the bread and butter of these regional sports networks, but then Major League Baseball started screwing around with streaming and, these DraftKings networks and stuff, and they dropped their inventory. And so NESN, my buddy was telling me they picked it up and they really love it because it is, Friday night is a funny night for TV viewing, but Ultimate doesn't look like anything else that's on TV. So if you're flipping, looking for something to watch, you will pause on an Ultimate game because it's just like, what is this? And it's right. It's easy to understand. It's not difficult to see that, like, you got to throw the Frisbee down the field and get it in the end zone to score. And
pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah. So they really like it. It fills a niche for them in their programming, but also it works pretty well on TV. And And like I said, Madison's got a broadcast team, and most of the teams have broadcast teams that are pretty professional now. They've got these guys who are trained play by play, announcers, some good color commentary, and they're fun to watch. And they put together clips packages. It's just like anything else. You really got to own social media as well. So clips are out there all the time. YouTube recaps. You can go onto YouTube and find most of the games recap. They'll boil them down to like a 10-minute, highlight package. And yeah, it's fun. That's really where the UFA lapped the USAU in terms of getting younger viewers by embracing the internet and just making it easy to find the clips and stuff.
So, how much are tickets, and like how do you come to a game, and how many people are coming to games?
We had for the opener a few weeks ago, we had 1,600 at Breeze.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. For championship weekend, it'll be up around 3,000, I imagine. Those are really fun because this is what's great about being like a Forward fan too. It's loud, right? Breeze is loud, and if you're a block away, it's a roar. You can hear this roar, and what the heck is that? And so that does happen at Frisbee games, which is great. So tickets you can buy, you can just walk up and buy them, and I believe they're pretty cheap. It's like 12. Again, you're asking the wrong guy. I never have to buy a ticket. It's like $12. You can buy them online in advance to make it quick, but you can buy them just walking up. And that's unique, right? As a Madison sport, like it used to be, you could go to a Mallards game and just walk up and buy a ticket. Those days are kind of over. And I think, it's even tough at Forward too, to walk up and buy a ticket. So, I think I encourage my kids 12 and under are free. So I encourage people with kids.
Yeah,
it's like something to do. You can
get out of the
go
house
out on Thursday or Friday night, and half an hour later you're getting chocolate shop ice cream and you're watching Frisbee. So
yeah, that's awesome. And have the Radicals and Radical fans, I assume, have benefited from the improvements to the stadium. And I mean, is Big Top a good partner in all this?
Yeah, I was joking about that, like online earlier. In our first few years, they were selling bacon on a stick and like literally pumping beer out of a keg from the Great Dane. And now, the guys who own Big Top, which runs Breeze Stevens and owns Forward and owns the Mallards and everything, they know that your Madison crowds want a good beer selection. You need to be able to get a brat quickly. That's good. It's warm in your hand. So yeah, all of those things are available. And, because there's a little more room in the seats during, Radicals games, people can move around. There's a big, like the end, the south end where the concession stands are, it's like a big party down there most games. And a lot of folks play the sport. So it's it's the summer league people kind of getting together and running into old friends and stuff. You see, it's a very social atmosphere during games.
Right. Well, that's kind of where the sport comes from, is this sort of the social.
For sure.
It's something you do with your friends, right? It's like, it's not
absolutely
actually.
Yeah. And, again, going back to that whole grassroots nature, I mean, I believe some of the guys on the team still play summer league, and for sure have in the past, or, they went to college here, they played on club teams. So there's a lot of connection there. It's, again, you're not likely, right, to run into a Forward player at a pickup soccer game at, U-Bay Fields on a Sunday.
Right.
But if you play Ultimate in this town, you will have squared up against a guy, on the Radicals. Yeah. In fact, there's a guy, Max Yunga is his name. He's a young player. He went to La Follette High School. He was on my summer league team 10 years ago or something like that, when he was 16 years old. So I continue to say that too. Like, yeah, Max Yunga and I played together not long ago.
Well, when I was playing against Max Yunga,
That's right.
We actually did a story. I just had to look it up. Back in 2017, we did a story on Marquise Mason. Do you remember him?
Yes.
I know well. Yeah. He was a wide receiver for the Badgers.
Yep.
And got injured or something. But then after graduating and getting a job in the community, he's playing for the Radicals. And that story just went absolutely viral. Like, people loved it.
I have great admiration for Marquise in many ways, just as a person. And he, there's a lot of athletes who would say, well, boy, it seems like something I could do, but I'm really afraid of looking bad, of starting a new sport ground up,
Mhm.
and he just embraced it. He jumped into it. He played with the Radicals for a couple of years. Didn't put up great numbers or anything, but definitely had the potential. He's a big body and he runs
Yeah.
quickly out there,
Uh-huh.
and he's competitive. But he has continued to play summer league, and
Oh,
his
cool.
summer league team is good. And he's now brought, his friends in as well. Because he's a community leader, so he's
Yeah.
he's about building groups. And he's still fiery as a competitor, so he's out there. But yeah, that was kind of fun. There are some guys in the league on some other teams, especially who have converted from other sports. And it's always kind of funny because that's been the promise of the game. Like, hey, it's fun to watch now, but what happens when, guys who played corner in, Division I college football, what happens if they start playing
Yeah.
ultimate? What's the league
Right.
going to look like then?
Yeah.
We're not there yet. But.
And it doesn't seem like, because I always feel like when there's like a new sport that catches on, and then somebody tries to make a pro league, then like some of the joy gets tapped out of it. But
Yeah.
like pickleball, like everybody loves pickleball, and now there's like serious pickleball, like they're trying to get in the Olympics and stuff. I'm like, that's not kind of not fun anymore.
Right.
But I don't think that that's happened with Ultimate, right? That it's professional,
it's
but it's
funny
not
because
like
that's
serious, right?
right. I think that there's all this talk in the community about legitimacy. Is ultimate considered a legitimate sport? And
What the hell does that even mean?
I agree. If it's fun, and and everything is niche now. If we've seen anything in our adult lifetime, it's that
Yeah.
everything is niche, and there's communities for everything. And if you want to do it and you can build something, then do it. And so it's that joy that you talk about, I think, is really based in, and you'll get this out of a lot of the players. You'll ask them, well, what drew you to the sport, and inevitably you'll hear, man, there is nothing better than a disc in flight. It is just a different experience from a football or a baseball or a basketball, even that you can use a lot of creativity in it, and people who are really good at throwing that disc, it's pretty. You can bend one way, it starts way out of bounds and comes floating back in and hits somebody perfectly in stride. And guys are always trying funnier things, throwing it upside down. There's 15 million different throws. And one of the league's best players is a guy named Rowan McDaniel it's either McDaniel or McDonald out of Washington. And he's got a whole series of YouTube videos just showing people how to throw trick shots. This is the nacho fries. This is the, whatever, whirligig. And, if you can work one of those into a game, you get ultimate respect from everybody. So
Ultimate respect and ultimate.
Exactly.
I play a little bit of disc golf just when I have a free hour, and I concur with the disc in flight beauty, because if a good throw, like, which are rare for me, but you remember it. Like, I remember my good throws, and and you're like, oh, that. And as soon as it leaves your hand, you're like, oh, that's beautiful.
100%. You remember them. I
Mhm.
mean, I had a very rusty ultimate career playing summer league, and but I remember the good ones.
Yeah. All right, Jason Joyce, we'll put a link to the tickets and to the Radical stuff in the show notes, so people can
radicalsultimate.com.
But you've got home games coming up in July, a lot to choose from.
Yep.
And it should be a good time. All right, thanks a lot, Jason. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
We'll be back right after this. All right, before we go around the league, I just want to shout out a couple of people. Sam, and I'm pretty sure my memory is not perfect, but I'm pretty sure Sam and Chelsea, I think, stopped after just grabbed me after the match on Saturday to say hello, and that they appreciated the show, and I appreciate you so much listening and stopping by to say hi, or just grab me on the sideline to say hi. And then the other one bit of news that broke after we recorded the other part of the podcast, so I'm going to toss in right now, is that Richmond Kickers head coach Darren Sawatsky is now going to be the new head coach at Sporting Cascades, which is the former Lane United, the new USL League One team that's going to be in Eugene, Oregon. So Richmond, as we will hear, not doing great. His seat was considered very hot, and he has vacated it, and he's going to go try something else in the Pacific Northwest, which is kind of where his roots are anyway. So anyway, so now let's take a look around the league real quick. Things got underway Wednesday, as we know last week. Westchester and Fort Wayne played to a 1-1 draw. Westchester struck first just before the half-hour mark. Connor McGlynn scoring probably the odds-on goal of the week favorite, scoring on a standing bicycle kick. He didn't jump; he just stood there and over his head on a cross from Maximus Jennings. It took a while. Fort Wayne did level in the 74th through Tag Healy. Fort Wayne took a corner kick. Westchester couldn't clear it. Healy poked it in through traffic, and the points are shared. And Charlotte, the hottest team in the league right now, get a 2-0 win over Omaha. The Jacks got their 6th consecutive win, this time against that top-of-the-table team in Union Omaha. Nice give and go between Prince Sadie, John Baccaro, back to Sadie, and then across to Suebo Maru. Easy tap in to make it 1-0 in the 24th minute. Then in the 53rd, Luis Alvarez did it all by himself, poached the ball off of Yunus Budadi, carried it into the box, curled a lovely shot to the far upper corner. Omaha had a chance to get back in it with a penalty in the 70th, but Matt Levy made the save on Sergio Ors Navarro to keep the clean sheet. Then in Boise, AC Boise gets the 2-1 win over Richmond. Boise came out flying. Tumi Moshabane taking a ball that's kind of bouncing around the box, hits it with his left to score in just the 3rd minute. They had a ton more chances. Got their eventual winner in the 42nd minute from Wisconsin kid Nick Moon, taking a cross in from Dennis Kostishin and nodding it in. He would get 2 yellow cards in the next 3 minutes after they scored that goal and got sent off right before halftime. Richmond got 1 goal back thanks to that man advantage. Neil Seifert scoring from distance in the 55th, but they couldn't do anything more with the man advantage, and Boise got all the points there. In the USL League One After Dark, AV Alta 3, Sarasota Paradise 1. Jerry Desdunes wins the turnover on the press, slides it across to Carlos Behera for a nice easy finish just 5 minutes into this one. Christian Ortiz would double the lead in the 18th on the second assist from Desdunes. Jerry Desdunes flying up the left wing, past 3 defenders, gets a cross in. Ortiz volleys first time to get the second goal. Then Godwin Antwi put it away in the 77th. Elias Almish getting in behind on a long ball, slides it across to Antwi to finish. Roberto Burlo did get a stoppage time consolation prize goal for Sarasota on a corner, but didn't ultimately matter at all. Now, on Saturday, this is a long one, guys. We got a lot of games to get through. On Saturday, Chattanooga go to Portland to get a 2-1 win. The Portland goalkeeper, Hunter Morris, put the ball in his own net for the 2nd time in 3 games. This time in just the 2nd minute, though it really wasn't his fault. Okay, Chattanooga's Omar Hernandez unleashed a rocket of a shot from the edge of the area, hit the post, or hit the crossbar rather. Lucky for him, it comes straight out and hits Hunter Morris's back and goes in the goal. So for all practical purposes, that's Omar Hernandez's goal, right? Though he won't get credit because it'll technically be an own goal. Anyway, Diego Gonzalez leveled it for Portland in the 57th, took a shot from the edge of the box. It takes a deflection, just kisses in off the inside of the post and in. Portland had their chances, but Chattanooga keeper Jason Smith just stood on his head in this one and stopped everything that came his way, including some one-on-one breakaways. I wouldn't be surprised if he had 3 Save of the Week nominations all from this game, like different saves. Pablo Hernandez eventually got the winner in the 90th for Chattanooga. Headed in a free kick from the wing. Hernandez got the winner, but give this game to Jason Smith, the goalkeeper. He was outstanding. Charlotte stays hot, beating Naples 4-3. 7th consecutive win for them, scoring early and often. Luis Alvarez opened it up in the 6th minute. Naples keeper Lalo Delgado well off his line. Suebo Maru chipped it. It hit off the crossbar, but Alvarez is there to tap in the rebound off the inside of the post. William Aravello leveled for Naples in the 21st, poked a through ball in with his left on a half volley, and then it's Suebo Maru again for Charlotte just before the hour mark. Christopher Jaime getting a ball into the 6-yard box for a tap-in to make it 2-1 Charlotte. Naples would equalize again in the 68th. Luca Macedonia tapping in a corner kick. And then Luis Alvarez would then get a goal and an assist in a 4-minute period, scoring from the 82nd from about 23 yards away on a beauty. Then finding Vigo Ortiz, who does a lot of work on his own, to find a bit of space and curl one in the 86th. Naples did make it interesting. Raul Miglietti scoring in the 89th, not again a free kick, but they couldn't get any more. And Charlotte wins again. They can't be stopped. In Knoxville, One Knox gets a 3-1 win over New York Cosmos. They got a penalty early. Cosmos keeper Javier Garcia made the save on Babacar Dieng, but he couldn't hold on to it. Dieng just steps up and pokes it in on the rebound to take the lead. Knoxville added one more in the first half as Garcia was just trying to put it in play from his own box, and Denis Kryshkov stepped in front of him, and the ball just knocked off his foot and rolled in. Really embarrassing. David Galizane got one back for the Cosmos in the 51st, finding himself in behind, carrying all the way from the center of the park to score one-on-one with Knox keeper Johan Garibay. But Mikael Goling would slam the door in the 73rd. Teddy Baker took a shot from distance. Garcia made a fairly comfortable save, but somehow spilled it and allowed Goling to tap it in, and Knoxville get all 3 points. Omaha lost again. Sarasota 2-0 over Omaha. Bit of a slump at the top of the table. It was 0-0 for nearly an hour, but USL League One veteran Emi Terzaghi, making his Paradise debut, scored a banger from outside the box, taking a pass from Sandra Rudd, turning and firing from about 20 yards in the 55th. Then he had an assist on the insurance goal 20 minutes later, played it forward to Jonathan Bolaños and continued his run, so Bolaños got it back to him. Then he played it central to Anderson Rosa, who scored from the arc to make it 2-0. And that's all she wrote for Sarasota over Omaha. Corpus Christi is rolling. They've got a 2-game winning streak now with a 1-0 win over Richmond. Could have been worse than that, honestly. Former Mingo Jackson Dietrich was carrying into the box in the 30th minute. Just got knocked over by Sam Layton. Easy call for a penalty. Richmond keeper Jan Alexander Filion made the save on the resulting penalty, however. So we stayed level at 0 till the 73rd, when Blake Bowen put in a corner and Arthur Medina nodded it in at the far post. Cool story, actually. Arthur Medina was with Corpus Christi Sharks for the last 2 years in USL League 2, stayed with the team to go pro, and that was his first goal as a professional. So good moment for him. And in the USL League One After Dark, Alta 1, Spokane 0. Plenty of chances, no breakthroughs until the 79th. Colin Anderson scored an incredible goal, not really a banger from distance, something with real skill and finesse, though. Jerry Desdunes carried it into the box. The shot is blocked toward the end line. It looks like it's going out. Jerry gets it off the end line into the 6-yard box. Anderson picks it up with his back to the goal, rolls it over once, turns, gets away from a defender, pokes it in. Really lovely goal, and enough to give Alta all 3 points. Take a look at that on highlight if you can. It's really sweet. Finally, on Sunday, it's Westchester 4, Greenville 0. Miguel Diaz strikes first for Westchester. Max Jennings carries into the box, takes one too many touches. He's dispossessed, but the ball falls kindly to Diaz. He picks it up in the left channel, takes a touch and curls it in. Then Jennings himself gets on the score sheet, rising to head in across from Alexi Armas. Just before halftime, Greenville goalkeeper Amal Knight was sent off for violent conduct during a corner kick. He elbowed a guy and then kicked him. So Seth Torman has to come in at goalkeeper, face a penalty right away. Does not go great for him. Connor McGlynn made it 3-0 for Westchester with the last kick before halftime. And then Torman would actually save a penalty later in the second half from Daniel Burko. But Burko would ultimately get his goal in stoppage time, taking a long ball, dribbling it right past Torman, and tapping it in to seal the deal. So looking ahead to this week, things get underway Wednesday night at 8 with our game against Fort Wayne. Friday night, Westchester hosts Portland. Then there's two cup matches, two Prince Tires USL Cup matches, all of them in our group. So that's why I'll mention them. They're all championship teams. Detroit City hosts Louisville. That's on ESPN2. And Lexington and Indy 11 play at Lexington. So that'll basically decide the winner of our group. Not that it affects us at all, but might be fun games to watch. And then also Saturday, USL League One action. Naples go to Chattanooga. Greenville hosts AV Alta. Richmond hosts Fort Wayne. New York Cosmos come to our place. Sarasota goes to Corpus Christi. Spokane hosts one Knoxville. And in the late game, Athletic Club Boise hosts Union Omaha. And finally today, in stoppage time, I want to mention something else that happened in the game on Saturday. If you're there, you might have seen, or if you might have seen on the telecast, that Mitch Osmond was honored and given a send-off of sorts at halftime. There was some question as to why that happened on Pride Night, because did that take away from Pride Night? Also, Pride Night wasn't particularly well publicized. Neither was this Mitch Osmond thing. Nobody knew it was really happening until we got there. I was able to. I actually was kind of just walking from one end of the pitch to the other during halftime, and I caught Mitch as he was about to go on, and I chatted with him for a minute. And what I can tell you is a couple of things. He has been licensed as an agent, and when he said that, I almost just reflectively said, "Oh, like real estate? Like, oh, you're going to sell real estate? That's awesome." No. He's going to represent soccer players. And he got licensed as an agent. He just got a gig with an agency. I don't know which agency. I didn't ask. But it's in Indiana. So he is moving, and his family. He's got those kids, and they're including a little baby now. Also, who they're all moved. We're moving Indiana back to Indiana on Sunday. So initially, the plan was to give him this retirement send off later in the season, but they had to work it in earlier because of that move. So that's why it happened. That's why it landed on June 13th. It's probably why it wasn't particularly well publicized, whatever. It was a cool moment. The number was not retired. If you watched it on TV, you heard them say that they retired Mitch Osmond's number. Colin McCamey would have a question if that was the case. Like, you're retiring my number? Do I have to change numbers now? So no, Colin McCamey's number 4. Number 4 is not retired. However, Mitch Osmond has been given the send-off that he deserves as a club legend. And you know what? People on Reddit, as they always say, I should just stop going on Reddit, but basically people are like, how's the club legend, whatever. And you know what? It's not an official designation. It's not like you earn legend points and then you get like officially conferred with legendary status. It's like if people love you and people think you're awesome and people have very fond memories of you playing and being out in the community and at events, and if like a kid high-fived you in the line after the match one day, you are a legend to that kid, right? It's not you don't have to overthink it. He played here for 3 seasons. He was the captain for all 3 seasons. He was captain for the best season we've had so far in 2024. And he's an affable guy, and he was great on the podcasts and on us and on New Dog Bazine, and everybody loves him. And he didn't just sign with another team, right? He had his career cut short by an injury. I think my sense is that last season was going to be his final season. It got cut short by injury, and he's still gracious enough to show up for us at the game, and legend is what I say. So I'm glad he got the send off. I'm glad I got to say hi one more time, and I wish him absolutely the best of luck. All right, we did it, guys. We made a podcast. Ethan, I hope you're having a great time in Kansas City. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that next week. Not too much, though, because we got 2 games to talk about next week. Could be a big one next week. Watch for a Rallycast, hopefully on Thursday. Okay, we'll try for that. We'll see how it goes. Also, I was just on Crescent Colors at Fort Wayne, previewing the Fort Wayne match. So if you want to check that out, do that. Otherwise, have a great day. Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see you at the Bree Stevens on Wednesday night. Have a great day. Up the goes. The 608 Soccer Show is part of the 365 Media Network, hosted by Rob Chappell and Ethan Maurice, produced by Rob Chappell, with a theme song by Rob Dees. Follow the show on Instagram and Blue Sky at 608 Soccer, and remember to subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast app.